Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mrs. Evans from Math with Mrs. Evans, where I answer all of your math questions. Today, I'm going to show you how to use the distance formula. So let's get started. Okay, so in this question, we're going to talk about how to use the distance formula to find the distance between 2 points. Now, most of the time when we have the distance formula, we find the distance between 2 points, we're talking about something that's going up and down or something that's going left and right. So all we have to do is count how many grid lines it is over, right? But that is not the case in this question. This question is different, where you are going diagonally, and that's going to happen. So to get started on this, I have this fun little, and I say fun sarcastically, equation for you. Now this is the distance formula. So this is the formula you use when you're trying to find the distance between 2 points, in this case, which is C and P on this graph, but you don't need to know that. So this is the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. So a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you lost me, Miss Evans, I'm done. I have nothing left, but it is okay, I'm going to help you out here. Okay, so this, all you're doing essentially is you're finding the distance between your x values, right, and your y values, and that's going to help you find the distance of the thing overall. And it's already in this, all the math has been done for you. All you have to do is put in the right order and do the equation correctly. So I'm going to show you how to do this because a lot of people get confused with how this works. So we're going to just start with this. So don't forget, when you have a point, you have x comma y, right? So this is where this x sub 1, y sub 1 junk comes from, right? So when we do this, we're going to name the points that it gives us, okay? So I'm going to call this x sub 1, and that's x with a little 1 under it. And then this y sub 1. And then this is x sub 2, and this is going to be y sub 2. Now, please, please, please do this first, so much so that I'm going to write this down for you. So 1, name your x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2 first. This looks horrible. I apologize. But it is so important that you do this because there's going to be so many people that follow directions and they don't write that down. They're going to be like, I don't know what to do. I lost you. So please do that first. Name them first, and then everything will be a little bit easier. So I'm even going to go in and I'm going to highlight them for you. So I have x sub 1, right? So I'm going to highlight x sub 1, which is right here in yellow, and I'm going to highlight it in the equation. And then I'm going to highlight y sub 1 here in green, and then over here in the equation. And then I'm going to do x sub 2, and then x sub 2 over here in my equation, and then y sub 2 there. Okay, now let me just go over this real quickly. X sub 1 is 0, y sub 1 is 1, x sub 2 is 5. Whoops, didn't mean to do that, sorry y'all. Oh, that worked out though. Alright. Okay, and y sub 2 is negative 4. Please do not forget that. That's going to be important later. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this down here, right? And I'm going to say x sub 2, right, which is 5. I got that part, so I'm going to highlight this. Actually, let me highlight these places first. So I have blue, and then yellow, and then red, and then green. It's going to make sense in the end, I promise. Okay, squared plus squared and the minus in between. Okay, so I have my x sub squared, which I put in there, minus x sub 1, right? X sub 1 is over here. That's 0. Okay? And then say plus, in parentheses, y sub 2, which is negative 4. Okay? Now, if that was in this position, remember that negative negative equals a positive, but it's not in that position. Just don't forget that. That's just something that people tend to forget. Anyway, so y sub 1 is 1. Okay. So I am now going to go through PEMDAS real quick. So this is why I always say, right, now that I have everything filled in here, I go to my parentheses first. What's in my parentheses? 5 minus 0, right? You can evaluate something in your parentheses, so you need to do that first. Most of the time, it's just like x or y or whatever or 1, and it's nothing else that's there, and you don't have to evaluate it, but this is why you check, because you have stuff like this, right? So 5 minus 0 can be simplified. That's 5. Okay? It's still in parentheses, squared. Okay? And then I have plus negative 4 minus 1. That is negative 5. Okay? Negative 5 squared. Okay? And that is all of the square root. Now, 5 squared. Now, remember, we just did our parentheses. That's done. Then I'm going to do my exponents. Exponents just are, I have two sets of exponents. So 5 times 5, or 5 squared, is 25. Plus negative 5 squared. So don't forget, negative 5 times negative 5. Two negatives multiplied by each other is a positive. So that's positive 25. Okay? I have that. There's no more multiplication. There's no division. But I can add square root of 50. Okay? Now, the square root of 50, what does it tell me what to do? Give an exact answer. Okay, so with that, I'm going to leave this here for a second. I'm going to go to this. So square root of 50 is 7.07. Oh, well, never mind. So I want you to do square root of 50. So then you would just stop at that point. Okay, so this would be your answer. Now, if it told you to do, to not give an exact answer, you would just go to whatever decimal point it tells you. Okay, so that is the answers. Now, to prove that I did my math correctly, okay, I'm going to go over here. So remember, this was my original. Now I put this over here. Now some teachers are going to allow you to use a calculator to do this, but I think it's important to know how to do it. If you show your work and then just fill it in your calculator, I'm totally fine with that. So let's just put this in. So remember, I have, again, I'm looking at this line right here, right? So this would be 5 minus 0, right? With negative 4 minus 1. And remember, look, it was 7.07. Now remember, we showed that that is square root of 50. Exact same thing. They just don't give you the option to look at that as a square root. Now, your answer is indeed square root of 50. Do not write 7.071, whatever. Don't do that. So your answer is square root of 50. So hopefully this is helpful. If you guys need to highlight your paper and do all these steps like I did, it's totally not necessary, but I think it helps a lot of people to really see where exactly things go. And I wish I had learned it like this, but some people are visual learners, they like to see that. So hopefully this was helpful. If you guys have any more questions or would like to see a different question or a different topic, drop it in the comments below, and hope to see you guys soon.